This isn't spoiled food. It's even considered a delicacy. Across the European Union, this dish is illegal. In Sardinia, around 100 tons of Casu Marzu are still produced and consumed each year. The question is, why is something so horrifying preserved like a treasure? Let's find out. In Italy, almost everything seems to have a long history. Cheese is no exception. Cheese has been present in Italy since ancient Roman times. This is documented in De Agricultura, the oldest surviving Latin text. The farm recipes section of this book mentions civillum, libum, and placenta, various dairy products. It also provides insights into milk processing and preservation, laying the groundwork for early cheese-making techniques. Over thousands of years, Italians have developed cheeses tailored to the resources of each region. This has created a diverse cheese ecosystem across the country. The Emilia-Romagna region we're looking at boasts Parmigiano Reggiano and Grana Padano. Lazio are known for Pecorino Romano. Campania gave the world its iconic mozzarella di bufala, a culinary treasure born from the region's fertile plains and centuries-old dairy traditions. Lombardia prides itself on Gorgonzola and Taleggio, born in the lush valleys and aging cellars of northern Italy. But it doesn't stop there. Cheese in Italy isn't just food. It's a cultural symbol, a reflection of the land, the people, and their fiercely protected traditions. In many rural areas, people still make cheese by hand using recipes passed down through generations. According to statistics, Italy has over 400 officially recognized cheese varieties. There are also many others produced on a small scale, not yet formally acknowledged. Notably, 56 cheeses have been certified with DOP status. But what is DOP, and why is it so important? DOP stands for Denominazione di Origine Protetta in Italian, equivalent to Protected Designation of Origin in English. DOP protects the origin and traditional production methods of a product. This certification ensures that the product is made in a specific region, is crafted according to time-honored, tightly controlled traditions, and it possesses a unique quality and flavor that cannot be replicated anywhere else. For example, Parmigiano Reggiano. This type of cheese can only be produced in Parma, Reggio Emilia, Modena, Bologna, and Mantua. The milk must be fresh, unpasteurized, and sourced from local farms. The production process involves strict steps: hand stirring, dry salting, aging for at least 12 months, and branding on the rind. One thing is clear. Having DOP status adds incredible value to any traditional product. But here's the twist. Casu Marzu doesn't need a DOP label to survive. It already is a cultural icon. Why is that? This is Casu Marzu. At first glance, it doesn't seem much different from other cheeses. But zoom in just a bit. Inside each piece of Casu Marzu are thousands of live maggots. Although we're no strangers to this creature, we may not fully understand it yet. By definition, a maggot is the larval stage of a fly, most commonly the housefly, scientifically known as Musca domestica. They don't have legs. Their bodies are soft, squishy, and pale, usually a creamy white or faint yellow. At first glance, they seem tiny, but as they grow, these larvae can stretch out to 12 millimeters in length. And they're picky about where they live. Damp, dark places filled with decaying organic matter, like rotting meat or decomposing leftovers. That's their paradise. In Casu Marzu, maggots are the key to its distinctive flavor. The maggots inside Casu Marzu come from Pyophila casei, a remarkable fly species found only in Sardinia. Pyophila casei is tiny, about 4 millimeters long, but it has an enormous impact on the region. So, how do maggots create Casu Marzu? First, you need to know that Casu Marzu is derived from Pecorino Sardo, a traditional sheep's milk cheese from the island. Thus, much of its production follows standard cheese-making steps. The process begins by heating sheep's milk. When the milk reaches a temperature of 36 degrees Celsius, a type of rennet is added to coagulate it. Wait about 40 minutes, and you'll harvest a thick, solid curd like this. Now, you'll use a tool to break up the curd structure. Once you've got a smooth enough mixture, strain it through a sieve. The curd is heated again and poured into molds to shape the fresh cheese. Finally, just soak it in brine and set it aside to age. And this is what we get after a few months of waiting. This is where the difference begins to show. Now, the pecorino cheese wheels are taken to a place perfect for Pyophila flies to lay their eggs. The cheesemakers cut open part of the rind to make egg laying easier. Each fly can produce around 500 eggs. Within a day, those eggs hatch into maggots, which start devouring the cheese. As they eat, the maggots release digestive enzymes like lipase and protease, breaking down fats and proteins. This transforms the cheese's texture into something creamy, sometimes even liquid. The flavor becomes intense, slightly spicy, and salty. And since the maggots also excrete on the cheese, a strong odor is unavoidable. It's these bizarre traits that have cemented this cheese's place in history in a way no one could have expected. In 2009, the Guinness World Records recognized Casu Marzu as the most dangerous cheese in the world. The reason is that the maggots inside the cheese can survive even when exposed to stomach acid. It poses particular risk to children, the elderly, and those with weakened immune systems. As an unusual type of cheese, Casu Marzu is neither refrigerated nor sterilized. Its decomposition process relies on environmental bacteria and outdoor flies, with no sanitary control. The risk of acute food poisoning is extremely high when consumed directly. Moreover, the maggots are capable of jumping up to 15 centimeters. As a result, people sometimes wear protective glasses or cover their eyes with their hands while eating.
You need to wear eye protection because the maggots leap from the cheese.
Right in Italy, a 1962 law banned the sale of food products contaminated with live larvae or insects, including Casu Marzu. That ban remains in effect to this day. On a broader scale, in 2022, the European Union issued foundational food safety regulations, classifying Casu Marzu as unhygienic. As a result, it was completely banned from commercial trade. Casu Marzu is sold on the black market or through local connections. An article in Food and Wine vividly illustrates the quest for this forbidden item. The reporter spent 3 days traveling, relying on multiple contacts and local help to track it down. And, of course, the price for such contraband isn't cheap. According to Insider Monkey's ranking, Casu Marzu is the 6th most expensive cheese in the world, costing around $100 per pound. Locals pair Casu Marzu with traditional crispy flatbread, pane carsau, which highlights the cheese's rich, creamy flavor and its intensely pungent aroma.
Per il sapore piccante e il sapore diverso, gusto pastoso, glielo dà il lavoro che fa la mosca.
For first-timers, though, the taste is likely anything but pleasant.
Oh, fuck. Really?
And I think I should forget about what happened in this cheese or...
Contrary to European views or food safety experts, Sardinians have no qualms about the safety of their maggot cheese.
Non c'ha niente di pericoloso. Niente, non ha niente.
They continue to produce and enjoy Casu Marzu, even facing fines as high as $60,000. For them, maggot cheese isn't just food, it's culture and an unmistakable identity. To understand why, we need to return to its birthplace, Sardinia. A piece of maggot cheese is born from a touch of hot wind, just right humidity, and a single unique fly. Located west of the Mediterranean with an area of over 24,000 kilometers squared, Sardinia is the second largest island in the region after Sicily. The island is more than 80% hills and steep slopes, mostly made up of granite or limestone. The region's unique terrain makes it difficult to develop large-scale agriculture. Local people have had to learn to adapt and make the most of every small patch of land. Farming areas are scattered, depending heavily on the terrain and underground water sources. As a result, semi-nomadic grazing became a common practice. The most renowned example is sheep herding, which has a history dating back thousands of years before Christ. Combined with the region's climatic conditions, this tradition eventually gave birth to Casu Marzu. Sardinia experiences very hot summers, with temperatures ranging from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, and mild winters, typically between 5 and 15 degrees Celsius. Rainfall on the island is limited and generally lower than the national average across Italy. The mistral wind from the northwest frequently sweeps across the island, keeping the air dry and clean, while also helping to naturally dry food without causing mold. This climate creates ideal conditions for fermentation bacteria and native insects to thrive stably without causing spoilage. Moreover, the island's unique soil, composed of weathered bedrock and red basaltic earth, makes it suitable mainly for growing drought-resistant plants. Olives, wild grapes, rosemary, sage, hemp, and various wild grasses that sheep particularly favor flourish here. These plants not only provide nourishment, but also influence the quality of sheep's milk. Milk from Sardinian sheep is rich in fat and aroma thanks to the native flora. Each type of plant is a silent ingredient in the recipe that gives birth to the cheese. But that's not all. The island's native microbiome and endemic insect species also play a crucial role. Yet these are only the necessary conditions. The sufficient condition for the creation of Casu Marzu lies in its history and its people. Periods of great hardship throughout history shaped a spirit of self-reliance and zero waste among the island's inhabitants. This mindset laid the foundation for the birth of such a strange food as Casu Marzu. Sardinia is home to a unique indigenous civilization known as the Nuragic culture. Emerging during the Bronze Age, it is characterized by thousands of stone structures that still stand today. Society was organized in tribal communities, living self-sufficiently through small-scale farming and herding. Between roughly 6000 and 4000 BCE, humans settled on the island and transitioned from hunting and gathering to agriculture and livestock rearing. Sheep were introduced by migrant groups arriving from mainland Europe. They brought not only the animals, but also herding techniques and milk processing methods. Sheep provided essential food sources, both meat and milk, and played a vital role in the island's self-sustaining economy. The people of Sardinia produced pecorino sardo cheese and stored it in stone cellars or warehouses. These storage places were prone to attracting insects, including the Pyophila fly. These flies laid their eggs on the cheese, and the larvae that hatched began breaking down the cheese. The Sardinian self-sufficient, defensive, and inward-looking mindset formed during this era became deeply ingrained in their cultural identity. That mindset was further reinforced by the island's turbulent history. In ancient times, Sardinia was successively occupied by the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, and then the Roman Empire. Due to its remote location, the island was largely neglected and never saw significant investment or development. Its economy remained in long-term poverty. After the fall of Rome, Sardinia was fragmented into small regions known as judicati, similar to feudal microstates. In the 14th century, the island fell under the control of the Kingdom of Aragon from Spain. The Spanish nobility, who resided in urban areas, paid no attention to the lives of the poor farmers. Hardship piled upon hardship. Even in the modern era, little changed. After Italy was unified in 1861, Sardinia was annexed but remained underdeveloped. There were no railways until the 1880s, no industrial factories, and it was excluded from major national development plans. While northern Italy rapidly industrialized, Sardinia continued living as if in the previous century: sheep herding, manual agriculture, and limited trade. Poverty forced the locals to optimize every resource, every drop of milk, every piece of cheese. Nothing could go to waste, not even cheese that had been infested with flies. Casu Marzu was born from this extreme form of frugality. The Sardinians knew, if they let the maggots consume the entire cheese, it would rot. But if they timed it just right, the larvae would transform it into a rich, creamy spread, almost like a pâté. They learned how to protect the cheese, bore holes for the flies to lay eggs, and halt the decomposition at precisely the most flavorful stage. All without industrial tools, only through skill and experience passed down by generations of poor farmers. Today, this food of poverty has become a symbol of a completely distinct identity within Italy. Many Sardinians do not see themselves as fully Italian. They have their own language, traditional dress, and folk festivals. The Sardu language bears traces of Latin, Catalan, Arabic, and Byzantine influences, reflecting a deeply complex and intertwined history. Casu Marzu is seen as part of that national identity, a form of cultural resistance that survives even under the ban of the European Union. Today, Although Casu Marzu is excluded from the industrial and legal food system, it is being nominated as a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage. In an age where food is increasingly standardized, Casu Marzu stands as a symbol of cultural independence and the preservation of local identity, a quiet rebellion against the homogenization of global cuisine. While Casu Marzu is not for everyone, for those brave enough to try it, it offers a unique and unforgettable experience. Would you dare to try Casu Marzu at least once, if given the chance?